Shame is so sneaky. It's so sneaky. I was laying in bed this morning and a thought crossed my mind. It said, I'm just ready. I'm just ready for this thing to take off or this situation to change. I'm just ready to be living my life the way I see it in my head. I'm just ready. Life needs to catch up. Like something needs to change. I need to get there. I am ready to be there. You know that feeling. But underneath that feeling is this like pressure, this this discomfort with what is. And that piqued my curiosity this morning. It drove me out of bed to get in my journal because I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. This voice is saying something else. And so as I'm writing and I'm addressing this voice, I start to hear that same familiar story. And it's going to sound real familiar to you as well. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Mm. That's such a normal feeling, isn't it? Something that so many of us, most of us are so used to just living with, like this this like foundational inability to accept life as it is. And that can feel impossible. I mean, I felt it this morning for a moment. I felt the impossibility of it. I was just like, oh my gosh, yeah, like maybe I'm not where I want to be. Maybe I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Not maybe. I definitely am not living the dream materially. Like when I look around my surroundings, I'm not living in that dreamy apartment that I want to live in, right? That I'm reaching for, that I'm moving towards that luxurious lifestyle, right? Doesn't mean where I am is bad. I've definitely been in worse situations, that's for sure. I'm actually, when I really peel back the layers, I'm actually quite happy with where I am, considering it is a transitional period. I really am happy. But yet there's that little voice just creeps in. It comes in like a whisper, like a little breeze, and it feels familiar and almost comforting, even though it hurts when you really look at it. Because again, we're saying, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. So why is this a problem? Like, why is this something that I felt the need to get out of bed and dig into? And why am I making it a fucking episode on my podcast? Because it's not the whole story. And my friend, I kept digging until I got to a truth that I was like, oh, wow, okay, my perspective shifted. I still need to tap, I think. I still feel like I need to tap to help my body really process the emotional undercurrents. And perhaps we can do that a little together on this episode. But this perspective shift that I landed in, I was like, oh, my people need to hear this. This is this is this is a game-changing perspective shift. Now, the thing with perspective shifts, like what I'm going to bring to you today, it's not always a one and done. With tapping, it can really wire it in and make it permanent. So I am going to encourage you that if what I say today resonates, if it lands with you, tap on it in your own time. Really thoroughly tap on it and talk through it with yourself, because that's what's going to make it be more of a permanent mindset shift. And so I'm going to do the same thing. But the reason why, and I'm going to lead you into this, the reason why this whole I'm not where I'm supposed to be is sort of, I don't want to say a problem actually. It's just not really helpful. It's because it comes from a place of rejection. You know, we're ultimately rejecting something in this moment. And just from everything I've learned over the past 10 years of going through a spiritual awakening and really coming into myself, that is not helpful. Rejecting anything that is not helpful. In fact, it's unhelpful. It's completely unhelpful. It's counterproductive, counterintuitive. It's just not whatever words you want to put there. It's just not it's not the thing that's going to bridge the gap between where we are and where we are leading ourselves. And I think sometimes we use it like it is, like we use that as motivation, as fuel to like move, to do something different. But really, my friend, like really take this, and I hope you're taking notes here. I hope you write this down because this part's important. When we try to motivate ourselves from that place of rejection, we're actually taking action and making decisions from a subtle fear. And I'm going to explain that to you. Because whenever I was digging into this, okay, I realized, and I'm kind of flipping into my journal here, I realized that I'm rejecting where I am because I feel ashamed. Like, sit with that for a second. And that might be obvious to you. Maybe it's really obvious to you. I mean, it's kind of obvious to me when I really looked at it, but in the moment, it doesn't sound like shame entirely. It doesn't feel like shame. It just kind of feels like a subtle dissatisfaction, which is so normal because we were raised, most of us were raised by people who identified as dissatisfied. Like, hello, I can't get no satisfaction. I mean, I was singing that song before I was 8 years old. Thank you, Britney Spears. It's such a relatable thing to feel because so many people feel it. They just don't feel satisfied with their lives, with themselves. But the thing is we only have this moment. And that's not like a spiritual bypass. Like that's a legit fact. Like time is a tool. It's not I don't know how I want to say it. I'm kind of lost for words there, but really when you look at it truthfully, there is only this moment. Always. Always. There's only the moment that we're in. And to reject what is, as painful as it may be, and let me tell you something, I'm saying this from a place of having to accept some pretty gnarly situations, like really gut wrenching, really painful, toxic situations. But the only way I can navigate them is by first accepting it. Otherwise, it just stayed in a pit of resistance. And that resistance just stressed my nervous system out. And that's what we're doing when we're rejecting ourselves in the moment, rejecting the experience we're currently having. We're sitting in a pit of resistance, in a dysregulated nervous system. That's what that is. Which means when we're in a state of stress like that, even if it's subtle, we're not thinking in the most clear way that we could. We're not really looking at it from the highest perspective. And that's the perspective we need to be making decisions from, not the lower perspective, not the fearful perspective. That's what ultimately leads us to repeating the same patterns, is responding and reacting based on our fear. Because it was uncomfortable to become conscious of this, to really look at it, to really sit with it, right? Like I almost brushed that thought off this morning. I almost actually played with it a little bit. I was like, yeah, gosh, come on, life. Get me there. I'm ready. Thank goodness for that little curious fucker in my head. He's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's look at this. There's something here. There's something you need to see. Something that has some information for you that'll actually make you feel better. That'll actually make you feel more whole and more satisfied. And ultimately, that's why we want that vision that we see in our heads, right? That's what that dream is. It's a dream of genuine satisfaction, of pleasure, of love, of wholeness, safety. Insert yours. It always roots down to those foundational things about how we feel. It's never really about the image that we're seeing, but you know that. You know that. So, if we only have this moment, if the past is just a story, if the future is just a story, and the only thing that's actually real is right now, and if resisting what is creates stress and dysregulation in the body, just creates resistance and makes it difficult to even think clearly, come up with solutions, be open to opportunities, to see the blessing that's actually disguised by the challenge, then that means that the only way to get through it is to accept it, is to be in a state of collaboration with it, right? To work with where we are, not work against it. And maybe that's a big trigger for you. I know it was for me at one point in time. Like now I've practiced this enough, this acceptance thing, that I've experienced the relief. I've experienced the clarity that comes on the other side of that so many times now that I just trust it. That's why my body kind of like is like willing to be curious. That's why my mind is like, okay, we don't need to ruminate. We need to actually dig into this. But for you, depending on where you are, that might be a big trigger. And I just want to say that's okay. Like that really is okay. It's just a part of the process. It takes building that trust with yourself, trying it for yourself and seeing that, oh, okay, wait, I don't need to fight this. And life teaches us to fight. Like, goddamn, you turn on the news, the only solution to anything is to blow some shit up. You got to fight back. The war on drugs, the war on this, the war. We think fighting it makes it go away, but really it just perpetuates it. We're keeping it alive because it's in the center of our attention. We're making all of our decisions based on this thing we're fighting against. Therefore, we're keeping it alive. In fact, we're feeding it and feeding it and feeding it. But when we are willing to acknowledge, all right, yeah, this is it. This is what it is right now. I don't like it. That's okay too. I don't like it. But it is here. I mean, this is the only moment I got. I literally can't put myself in a different space and time mentally, physically, in that memory that I'm wishing I was in, or that future memory that I wish I was in. I can't actually go there right now. There's not an open door. There's not a fucking portal that's just opening up in my bedroom or office or whatever that I can step through and just disappear into this new world. That's not happening. If it was, cool. Peace, bro. Have fun. I want one too. But this is where we are. God, if old Hannah would have known this, man, she would have been able to, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have been an alcoholic back in the day. But that's okay. That version of me taught me a lot too. But that's kind of the point, isn't it? That's kind of the point I'm leading up to, is that right now, this moment exists for a reason, maybe multiple reasons, maybe infinite reasons. It's offering something to you. And again, I say this from the experience of just digging for peace, right? I just wanted peace in all the chaos that was my life. And the only way I ever got to it was not by changing myself, not by, in fact, that created more pain, not by trying to force my circumstances to change, but by being present with what the fuck is. And I say that, but I don't want to I don't want to minimize how challenging that is too, especially in the beginning when you're first coming out of that resistance, when that's been like your main way of like approaching life is kind of fighting it. It's so hard in the beginning. It's a big identity shift when you do that, when you stop fighting against the moment, when you stop fighting against the circumstance and you start to honor it instead. I mean, I've lived in situations where there was ample abuse and I didn't have a clean escape, you know? And it could have been worse, you know what I mean? I'm sure some of you have been through even more tumultuous situations, and it makes it even more difficult to be willing to accept it. But this moment is all we have. And one day, this moment will look very different, hopefully for the better. I trust for the better. And that's going to be really nice. But until then, this moment is seeding the way into that moment. In fact, this moment is the bridge, right? We thought that the bridge from here to there was just pure dissatisfaction, motivation because I can't stand it here. And maybe a part of you feels like if I don't have that, I'm not going to move. If I'm okay with where I am, I know I felt this fear. If I'm okay with where I am, then I'm not going to do anything to change it. And this isn't how I want my life to look. This isn't how I want to represent myself. And so I want to alleviate some of that fear now. Really feel me when I say this. That's not true. You're not going to become complacent because you accept what is. Because you put down the resistance and the fight against what is. No, what you're going to do is you're going to regulate your system, your nervous system. You're going to bring yourself out of stress and into a state of balance and harmony and peace. And then your body, your brain, it's all going to be able to function the way it's intended to. And you are going to be more supported than you ever realized. Then the ideas, the the like, oh, I'll do this. This is the thing that I want to build, or this is the next step. Whatever those are for you, they become clear with love. They become clear with peace. They start to feel like a pleasure that you're not maybe familiar with. Maybe you've experienced it here and there, but it's like a clean pleasure. It's clean, it's pure. It feels expansive and safe and light and airy, and like you can breathe in it. Whereas everything else is maybe had a cost or a consequence. It just starts to feel really good. And feeling good, it can feel unfamiliar at first, and our nervous system can flag it as dangerous. This is unsafe. But that's why we show up consistently to ourselves. That's why it's not just a one and done. We show up every day to meet this part of ourselves. And so, as I was really thinking about this today, let me get my journal back. I was really just thinking about like, okay, the voice in my head is telling me I'm not where I'm supposed to be, right? Well, okay, so if all I have is this moment, then that really can't be true. I'm sorry, it just can't. I'm not supposed to be anywhere else. I'm supposed to be here for whatever reason. I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be exactly who I am right now. If the only moment that can truly exist and be truly experienced fully and fully embodied is the one that I'm currently in, then there really isn't any other way it should be right now. And again, I want to say this gently because I understand that that can feel really hard to accept because maybe your situation is much more intense than mine currently is. I had just left an intense situation that was really difficult to accept. But we're not accepting it to say yes, like, oh, more of this. That's not what you're doing. You're accepting it because it is what it is. It's just here. It's here. It's a it's a waste of energy. It's a waste of your precious creative energy to wrestle with this isn't right. This isn't right. And I'm not saying the situation itself, depending on what you're dealing with, is right. Not at all. I'm not condoning abuse. I'm not praising struggle here. I'm talking about you within yourself. I'm talking about that inner battle because that's the place where you can go to and create resolution when you might not be able to create resolution in a situation outside of you. I know I was in that situation. I couldn't fix anything that was going on around me. I mean, I was dealing with someone in my life who just wanted conflict, wanted suffering. I mean, not in their truest of true selves, right? But it was just the current state they were in. And they weren't really willing to give it up. And they were willing to take down anybody with them. I couldn't do anything about that. I couldn't control that person. I couldn't fix that person. I couldn't make them stop being unkind. I couldn't do anything. It was a big lesson in letting go of what I can't control and focusing on what I can control. And I'm very grateful for it. Honestly, I wouldn't erase that situation at all because it taught me that very important lesson. And it pushed me to go within and to, instead of trying to fix this, let me focus on me. Let me help me feel better as best I can. Let me do everything I can to make myself feel safe and loved and nourished because everything out here is not doing that. And I deserve that. So I just wanted to say that, I never want to minimize the pain that someone's experiencing and the intensity that they're experiencing. But I'm also not going to say you're just in it for no reason at all because I just don't believe that. I really don't. I believe that so many things are catalysts for us to awaken us to our true selves, to who we really are. And it's like a pressure cooker, right? Like I've been in a pressure cooker my whole life, literally my whole life. I'm 33 years old, approaching 34, and I'm just now in a situation where I feel like I can be, where I can truly just relax into my own skin. And that didn't come from running from challenging situations. It came from navigating through the waters, through the deep waters, and using every ounce of shit that was thrown at me to fucking fertilize my ground and grow new life. So let's come back to this for a second. So let's go back to where we started because I want to lead you into this perspective shift that I just think is so freeing, so gentle, but so freeing. If right now, the only thing that I can do is, if the first thing I can do is accept it, because I know that I don't want to keep making decisions from this dysregulated, stressful state. I don't want to keep taking action from the part of me that is just dissatisfied. I don't want to let her drive my ship anymore because she keeps driving me into situations that just don't feel good. So then, if that's not true, if that voice in my head that's telling me that I'm not where I'm supposed to be, if that's not true, then what's really going on? What is my body really trying to tell me right now? And that's why in the very beginning of this episode I said, shame is sneaky. Because that's what's hiding underneath this. It's the feeling of shame. It's that, and shame, I've really analyzed shame. More, I've, in the beginning, before I was willing to feel my feelings, I really picked it apart, really picked it apart. And I learned, I'm happy I did because I learned shame is just a part of us that's saying, I'm wrong. Something about me is wrong. I just feel like I'm bad as I am. And, you know, it's easy to believe that when we have a lot of memories or whatever from situations that really pointed that out to us. But what I want you to focus on here, friend, is the feeling itself. I'm sorry if you heard me hit the microphone. I want to focus on the feeling, okay? The sensation, the somatic aspect of this. Because the thoughts, I am wrong, something's wrong with me, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, those are expressions of that feeling, of that state that you're in. And I want to tell you, I've learned along the way that feeling, even if you don't feel it all the time, when it's unprocessed, it doesn't just go away because you're not focused on it in the moment. It's still sitting there in the background like white noise, like a smell that stunk at first and now you're just used to it, or that smelled really good and now you're just used to it. You don't smell it anymore. You're not consciously aware of it, of its presence, but it's still there. We go nose blind to feelings sometimes. We get so used to them. We normalize them. We desensitize to them. And that's why we get more sensitive as we heal, as we release and process, because we're no longer desensitized to these things. Instead, our system is more like, it's like, ooh, hold on, something feels off, That's why our sensitivity increases. So, my highly sensitive friends, you are going to get more sensitive the more you heal, but only for your betterment in a good way. So, peeling back all those layers, what we find is shame. I feel shame. In fact, let's tap and put my coffee down. Go to the karate chop for a moment. We're not going to go too deep into this. I really want you to do this on your own, though, if this resonates. But just tap on the karate chop point and just repeat this. I feel shame in my body. That's why I don't like where I am. That's really why I don't like where I am. That's that's some of the deepest roots of it is I feel shame. And that's okay. That's okay. This is the acceptance part, my friend. I feel shame. I've felt shame for a long time. But I'm going to choose to accept myself right now. Even as I feel this shame. Telling me that something's wrong with me. telling me that I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not going to run from this feeling. I'm going to be here and accept it. So, yeah, I've felt shame. Uh, See, look, I burped. That's a good sign. By the way, when you burp and yawn and all that stuff, when you're tapping, your body's letting it go. I always get so happy when a good burp comes up. It's okay. Say this part, repeat this part. It's okay that I felt ashamed. And then breathe into that. Like, really follow your breath after you say that one. Slow inhale and a slow exhale. It's okay that I have felt this shame because it's a feeling. It's not who I actually am. And you can keep tapping here if you want to as we keep talking through this. But this is the point where you don't have to repeat me anymore. Really, guys, shame is fear. And ultimately, it's a fear of being who we are. It's a fear that says, I don't like who I am. I don't want to be who I am. I don't want to be where I am because I don't feel safe. That's the deepest, deepest layer. I don't feel safe being me for this reason or that reason. And you know what? This, as much as it sucks, right? Like it sucks to feel this way, but I really want to clarify something with you, my friend, because this feeling is not your enemy, okay? This feeling was actually your protector at one point in time. At one point in time, there may have been a situation or multiple situations where you needed to dim that light because maybe the environment you were in really was not safe. And you guys better get used to this. I'm getting choked up again because that's my story. When I was a child, it was not safe to shine. I had a very abusive mother. Bless her soul. She she was ran by her pain, and she acted from that pain in many ways. And not just her, people around her that she brought around, shining that light, expressing yourself. In a practical sense, shining your light just means expressing yourself, being you without shame, without hiding it, just being you. There were times, if this is your wound, there were times when that really just wasn't a thing that you could do without there being consequences. And so this became a shield, it became your armor to protect you. And so that's, again, that reinforces what I said earlier about the self-rejection. That's the deeper reason why it's unhelpful. Because that rejection is just an expression of this. It's that armor protecting you. It's saying, I'm going to push away this part of myself. I'm going to reject me. I'm going to criticize me. I'm going to judge me because I know all those things will dampen my spirit and it will make me not want to speak up. It will make me not want to express. It will make me not want to say the thing or do the thing that I really want to do because it's not safe to. Now, at this point where we are, right, where you are now, if you're listening to this, if you're orbiting here with me, that's not necessarily true anymore. But your body still kind of lives as if it is, right? That's why we tap, because tapping is what helps us break free of those things. It helps dislodge those stuck emotions. And ultimately that's what this is. That's what I was experiencing this morning when that thought came through. It was a piece of that emotion. It was like, hey, on the surface it said, I just want to get there already. I just want to be where I want to be. I don't like where I am. I don't like how I'm representing myself, blah, blah, blah. Underneath all that pressure, that pain, it said, I don't feel safe right now. For some reason, I don't feel safe being me. That's a different story. That's a different voice, right? That's a different need. One says, fix, fix, fix. The other says, love me. Hold me, be with me. Tell me I'm safe. Help me feel safe. And it's that little kid in us that felt alone in their fear, that felt alone in the abuse, that was left to just deal with it, get over it. When you didn't have the nervous system or the tools or the capability to do that in a healthy way. When all you really needed was a fucking hug. Someone to hold you and say, I'm here, it's okay. But here's where it gets beautiful, you guys. Because this stuff's heavy, right? It's sad. I don't get emotional about these things because the pain is still really loud in my body. I get emotional because I have so much empathy and understanding for that part of me now. And all I want to do is love her. And it's just heartbreaking to know that so many people live with this and feel stuck in it. But here's where it gets to be beautiful and here's where the freedom comes in. Because this whole thing, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, something's wrong with me. It all produces doubt, right? It produces self-doubt, it makes us not trust ourselves. It makes us second guess. It makes us, not follow through, procrastinate, all this stuff. Because we're afraid to just move to be. But when you start to actually respond to that deeper part of you, the deeper truth that's actually just saying, hey, I just need to feel safe, because that's really what it's asking for. It's you asking deep down, I just want to feel safe in my skin, in my body. I just want to feel fucking safe. I don't feel safe. What you actually realize is that I don't really believe that there's anything wrong with me. Think about that for a second. How many things have you said no to because you just didn't feel good enough? Or how many things did you not go after because you didn't feel good enough? How many things did you accept that were not good for you because you didn't feel good enough to feel good, to feel happy, to feel peace, to feel confident, to feel like you're fucking somebody, to feel like you're important? How many life decisions have you made from that belief, that illusion that you actually think there's something wrong with you? This, realizing this, really seeing ourselves this deeply, it breaks us free from that story. There's something wrong with me. Actually, no, there's not. It turns out, guys, there's not. This just in, right? Like, I don't actually believe that. That's not really who I truly am or how I truly see myself. I actually know there's nothing wrong with me. And again, this is where tapping becomes your lifeline because if that's hard to receive, tap long enough and it will become obvious to you, I promise. Book a session, I'll show you my damn self. I mean, tapping clears the noise. It's like your windshield wipers, okay? And the soap when it's like gross and you got bug splatter all over your windshield. Tapping fucking sprays that shit, wipes it clean. Oh, look, I can see the road now. It's tapping, it reduces that stress caused by the emotion. So that way your brain can actually come back online in the way that it's supposed to. And that's when you start to access new clarity, new perspectives of yourself. That's where this came from for me. Consistent tapping, consistently dislodging this emotional baggage and blockages, whatever. It makes it somatically and mentally obvious that I never believed there was anything wrong with me. I was just using that as a shield to keep me from fully embodying myself, from fully expressing myself because I didn't feel safe. How fucking freeing. God damn, I can feel the liberation in my body as I say this to you. That means that I don't actually think that I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm actually okay on some level with where I am. Oh, and now that I'm open to that, oh, guess what? Now I can start to become aware of how it's serving me. Even if it's hard, even if it's hurting, even if the situation sucks, I can start to open up to how it's serving me and to the part of me it's revealing. Because our situations, they expose things. Like yesterday, my dad said something because I live with my family now. Instead of, I decided to live with family, a short story, real quick, instead of taking on a job while I grow what matters to me, while I grow a business and a mission that really matters to me, instead of, dispersing my energy to have that independence, I decided to sacrifice my independence for some time while I really become who I want to be, while I really reveal who I truly am, and while I build what matters to me, something sustainable and meaningful to me, rooted in my values and my authenticity. So I stay with my family and a part of my contribution in the household is I take care of some cleaning to help lighten the load for them because they're lightening my load, right? And so he said to me, he was like, "All right, you get the kitchen, you get to mop the kitchen." And the way he said it, it triggered me for a second. Not in a big way, but I was just like, "Huh, okay." I didn't like that. And I sat with it for a minute. I journaled about it and I was like, "Okay, what is that feeling?" And ultimately, it had nothing to do with him or what he was asking me to do because that's 100% what I gratefully do for them. But it just had to do with that. It triggered that sense of I'm not independent. I'm not where I want to be, right? I'm not at the top of my mountain yet. It triggered the shame. And so our circumstances, they are beautiful collaborators, as toxic and as trashy as they can be sometimes. I'm not referring to my father here. I just, past situations, toxic and trashy, not this one. This one's actually really lovely. But what was I going to say? There are situations or circumstances, they trigger, okay? They trigger. I'm emphasizing that word for a reason. They trigger these situations, these feelings inside of us. They don't cause them, okay? There's a very, very important distinction there. They don't cause the feelings, they trigger them. They reveal you to you. They make the unconscious conscious. They reveal the stinky smell in the room that you are no longer paying attention to because you're nose blind to it. But really, it's not a healthy smell to have. It's like the fish in the I can't think of the damn word. It was something on a show that somebody put a fish in the top of the curtain or something just to prank somebody or something like that. It's like that you went nose blind to it. Really, you need to get the fish out of the room. It's not good to have a dead fish sitting in your bedroom or your living room or wherever. So our circumstances reveal things to us that are really important for us to see. That little situation, as all my past situations, they've revealed emotions that I haven't processed. Shame is one of them. And that's ultimately like the first thing that led me down this little path to this morning where I had that thought, where I just started to dig into it. So that's really a beautiful aspect of whatever your situation is. What is it revealing to you? That's how it's supporting you. Because as you become aware, oh, there's this feeling here. Now you know the solution isn't necessarily to run, flee, fight. It's to go within. It's to create some peace and safety within, however you may do that. Like I said, tapping has been my favorite, most effective way to do that. And then the funny, beautiful thing that I learned, this another lesson I learned in my last toxic, tumultuous situation, was that whenever I focus on what I can control and I take care of me and I get myself into a place of regulation and balance and peace, that shitty situation takes care of itself. The solutions appear. A door opens or one closes that needed to be closed. People remove themselves. I recently had a situationship remove itself as I was inwardly coming into a clarity about the situation. They outwardly, I don't know, threw it all away. They messed it up. They ruined it. And I was so happy because I was like, oh, well, that answers that question. It took care of itself. I wasn't sure if that was right for me. Oh, well, it revealed itself not to be. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Door closed. The situation took care of itself because I was taking care of me. And that's a gift of life. When you take care of you, life will take care of you. You might not notice all the ways right away, but you'll catch on. You'll start to see it. And sometimes it is extremely subtle, potent, powerful, important, foundational, but subtle. We don't pay attention to the damn subfloor, right? That's supporting the wood floor that we're walking on, or the infrastructure underneath that's holding the house up, right? We don't pay attention to those things. We don't see those things, but we're benefiting from them. We wouldn't be able to walk on a solid floor without them, right? This is the same thing. Your emotional health, your mental health, the same thing. So that's our freedom here. I just needed to process. I just needed to feel that feeling of shame. I needed to create some safety in my body so that I could realize that I actually love who I am. I actually appreciate who I am. I actually am trustworthy. I can trust myself. I don't need to doubt every decision. I can trust this decision. And when I'm not trusting my decision, I can check in with that. I can be discerning. Okay, is that because I'm feeling fear? I'm feeling unsafe? Or is it because there's a different path? Now, instead of moving from fear, you can move from awareness and love for yourself and trust in the future, trust in where you're going. And you can start to excavate all the gold that you're sitting on in this current situation. Because it's there, I promise you. I'm starting to feel my energy come to a close here. So my body's telling me that I think we said what we needed to say. If I keep going, I'm just going to ramble at you. And I can do that. Don't try me. I will. But let's summarize this. We started this journey today feeling shameful, feeling like right now is not good enough. I'm not good enough. This moment's not good enough, right? And then when we peeled back the layers, we realized, oh, the part of me saying that is the part of me that just doesn't feel safe being. Okay. Now that we saw that, we realized all we need to do is help ourselves feel safe. And, you know, I talk about the tapping so much, not only because it rewires how you think in the moment and releases those emotions, but that whole thing is happening because it's literally signaling to your nervous system, your brain, everything that I am safe. Hey, we're good here. We're good here. But also, like we've done in the last episode, you can just be with yourself. Just be there. The first thing I did before I ever found tapping, the first thing I ever did to create safety, and I didn't know that's what I was doing at the time. Really, I just couldn't stand the feelings I was feeling and I didn't know what else to do with them. So I just sat down and felt them. And it was a liberating experience. Sometimes that's all you need to do too. Tapping, I tap when I do that now because it feels, it makes it easier. It makes me not lose myself in it, which sometimes I used to. It's easy to get lost in the waves. Tapping helps you kind of keep your feet on the ground. But I remember the first time I just sat with myself and I just fucking I dropped into my body. Every time I had the thoughts, the stories like, oh, I did this thing wrong, I did this wrong, blah, blah, blah. I would pull myself into my physical body and I would just follow the emotion around. And oh my God, it's so uncomfortable. Lord, talk about discomfort. But when you do that, you're processing. You're processing. You're literally feeling your feelings. That's what we're supposed to fucking do. And that helps it move on out instead of getting stuck and lingering and therefore perpetuating those mental loops, those thought stories, all that bullshit and reinforcing the emotion. It's a whole cycle. You break the cycle when you actually feel. Tapping while you feel helps you stay grounded. But if you can do it without tapping and you prefer to, that's totally fine. Doesn't matter. But feeling your feelings, being there with yourself, just being present. That's what that is. It's presence. And that's what heals. That's what restores our sense of wholeness and leads us to the point where we can see so clearly, I'm right where I need to be. Wow. Okay, cool. So now I can stop leaking this energy and instead I can focus on creating, expressing, being who I am. I can test those limits now from love, right? From love and peace and safety instead of just flailing my way through life and fucking hoping I'll figure it out and just falling every time I take a step. So I hope that this conversation has really inspired you to look at your shame differently, to look at yourself differently, to consider that really there is nothing wrong with you and that voice of shame is just a shield. So instead, maybe ask yourself, what am I protecting myself from and how can I make myself feel safe right now? But okay, my friends, I'd love to hear from you if you feel so called to reach out. I'd love to hear, what this shifted for you, if anything. And if nothing, that's okay. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And if you need personal support, if you need someone to be there in that space with you as you navigate the emotional waves and to help you really alchemize the pain into the solution, into creativity, into free expression, into confidence, into genuine peace, into appreciation for you and where you are, you're more than welcome to book a private session. I offer two ways to do that. I offer two different packages. I do a single session depending on what you need. If it's just something that you're at the edge of and you're okay, I just need to I need to see this from a different perspective, right? I need to look at this in a way that's going to bring me to the truth so I can free myself of this that's perfect for you. The single session would be perfect. It's a 2-hour session. We go deep and we tap a lot. But if there's something a little more lodged in there, I offer a 3-session package, which you can always extend if you want, but more than likely won't have to. So those are all linked in the show notes. And of course, just make sure you're subscribed if this is resonating, if you're really liking these vibes, so that way you don't miss another episode. My goal is to post them weekly, but life is life, so we're going to let life do her thing and navigate as we go. But I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Thank you for crying with me today. Thank you for tapping with me today. And thank you for diving deep with me in this vast ocean that we are. I'll catch you guys in the next episode.